All right, from Justin to Cully, August 25th, 2022. I apologize. I'm probably not going to be looking at Andrew because my camera is one place and then you're down below here. So whatever. We'll get through it, Andrew. Not a big
It's
deal.
all
But
weird.
Andrew joins
We'll
me.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Andrew joins me today. Justin is still not back yet. Hopefully he's back soon. So obviously the number one thing going on today is the catering bill. You watch live, right? You watch the
Of
show
course.
live.
It was
Yeah.
I think what was funny yesterday when Kirk mentioned that we're going to do the show, we're going to go live at 10. There's some big news, second Sacco show. As someone
Yep.
who had an anniversary weekend, I couldn't go to the first Sacco show. Now I have a second chance at it. So I'm going to the show.
I was going to ask you that because I figured we would have bumped into each other at that or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I couldn't go. It was girlfriend weekend. And like I said, if I had left, I would have come back single. And I found someone who's way too good for me. So I can't lose that. But I will be there on the August 2nd. And I'll probably, do they allow dogs at the drive-in? Because I'm bringing the pups.
They did.
We are going to have a little puppy petting zoo around my vehicle.
A silver lining right there. Yeah, there was somebody, I forget what, and I actually think it was somebody who runs a parody account told me that they brought their dog. It was actually a couple people brought their dog. So yeah, bring the dog.
Yeah,
it's a family. It's a family affair. Yeah, it's a family affair. So, all right, so we'll get right into it. I called Kirk on Monday night, as he explained, because I got a $30,000 catering invoice. There was just a lot of confusion as we outlined during the show, and we even talked to Dustin, who runs the company. You know, Justin started the process, and then when Justin goes off leave, I just tried to connect the dots between basically this guy and the facility. And I told the guy how many people were going to be there and all that stuff, and asked him what the food options were. And then it just turns into all of a sudden that's in my email box. So my thought was, as I said on the show, that there were probably expenses associated with just him being there. That's what I thought. A cater, like he had 7 people traveling from Madawaska. I think when we talked about that, when Justin did his leave, I said, I don't know why somebody's traveling from Madawaska, but at the end of the day, if they agreed to do it, they agreed. Well, now we kind of know why they probably agreed to do it. Don't you think?
Yeah, it makes it clear. There's obviously a failure to communicate. That's
sure.
At the end of it, it's cool hand, Luke. We have what we have here, and it's.
And by the way, that was noticed even last week when we didn't have a stage last minute. You know, so it was like there was a failure in communication all around that needs to be rectified.
Big time. It's one of those things. And even listening to it at first, Justin's taken the brunt of it. He started with it with the food. And then I'll even say this, though. It's not a good look with the messages from you, because I can completely understand how Dustin would think that this is all going to be covered by Barstool like the last one. It kind of came off from the way he was explaining it, that it seemed pretty clear that this was going to be like an inclusion thing. But from everyone I heard, like even talking with Tim and stuff, it's like you hear that, okay, so the food was free and now we see why. So I think with that, and I mean, selfishly, as a fan, you get a show like today, which is great. I was dying laughing watching it, 1, and then 2. Now I get a second live show I get to go to. So I benefit from this, but it's from an entertainment value, and it makes the show great. And honestly, these are always, I think, the best shows, because you saw it last time when with the missing audio from Steve, and just the hours of hammering Steve.
This is much different. This is a much bigger, different. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. And it's one of those situations that as a listener, I love it. It's great. It's entertaining. I think it brings up the question again, what's up with the producer of Kirk Minahan? Do they have problems telling the truth at times? Because it seems like there's always a lie coming out. If you're the producer of Kirk Minahan, you have to, what do you have to know how to lie properly?
Yeah, I think this is just the complete communication, just back and forth. I mean, and then I'm on the phone with him telling him 1,000 people, thinking there's already some kind of arrangement in place, and it completely blows up in your face at that point. So it sucks. I will say this, and I didn't get a chance to say it during the show, is like when I did call Kirk and we were kind of like working through it on Monday night, there is, and I'm not just saying this, I'm trying to say this to add value to, this is supposed to be kind of like a behind the scenes show, not to kiss his ass per se. There's probably no podcast host in the world that would just like bounce off that as quickly as he did, and then try to be there. And, maybe he hates me, maybe he thinks I'm a liar or whatever, but like he's there for his team. He was there for Justin. He was there for me. He was there for the business in the moment very quickly. I don't see anyone else like we had this done like that night after, like Sacco 4, we're calling it Redemption. Like it was booked that night. All the decisions were decided. The stage was rented that night. The only thing is, are we just going to do concessions for food for Sacco 4? But we're trying to work. Maybe we get food trucks like happened last year, but it was done because Kirk pivoted so quickly into being a team guy very quickly.
It's when you listen to the show, he makes it clear. Kirk's a big loyalty guy, and it's one of those situations that if there's anyone that can make lemonade, like when life gives you lemons, make lemonade type of situation, he's going to deal with whatever's thrown his way and turn it into something successful. He's got probably the most loyal fan base of any podcast. I'll even put that up against even you say a Part of My Take or a Joe Rogan, simply because you don't see the interaction as much as you do here. And I think that's a big component of it. So to be able to pull this off, it's going to be a huge success. It's going to be fun. The show is going to be great.
And there's a couple angles that he obviously reads on this one, and he probably read it fast, which is like, one, there's obviously the people that didn't get to go to the Sacco show on Saturday that are probably going to be excited to go, like yourself. And then two, it's just the loyal fan base that wants to not just go to have a good time, but like legitimately wants to go and help out the show, and mistakes were made, and the fans are helping correct those mistakes. Like another podcast, maybe buying a t-shirt helps the fans, or buy what, like this is a very intimate thing that the fan base is doing. Like they are righting a wrong by buying a ticket. I'm not trying to go into sales, but I'm just saying like that's an actual thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, the fans are about to bail your ass out. you and Justin. And
that was the way I should have put it. Yes.
It's at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a success, and it's going to be another funny moment in Kirk Minahan show history. So I'm sure historian Tim's going to have all that written down. It's one of those situations. Yeah, when it comes down to the blame piece, it's where does the buck stop? And I think Kirk, at the end of the day, he even said it himself. It's like, you want to blame me because it is his show. But I think,
but we know who we know who he is, and we didn't go into kind of like the details of it all. Like, one, this was all like, I keep trying to say it's not excuse making, but like it was all booked before I even came in as being hired. Then Justin is charged with being the live event guy. Then me, a lack in leadership in just going to him and being like, hey, is this done? Is this done? Is this done? And just hearing yeses, yeses, yeses. And they probably were. It was all fine, but we could have dove into the minutia much tighter. And that's something we're going to learn in the future. That's something that's already being done right now for Sacco 4. Let's put it that way. Like, it's all on paper.
Let me give you exactly checklist. As someone who, like, when I worked in the political campaign world, every event we had a full checklist: food, catering, boom, 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 and we're checking it even with each other. I was press secretary. I'm just cared about media stuff, but I'm working with our event coordinator to make sure all these are all on the line. I think that's going to be something you're going to learn from this as you go forward. I mean, you even got a good reaction from Kirk today, just dropping the hard R word, as even like he even said. So, like, what's that for you to be sitting there to hear that and kind of take that brunt from it? Because I mean, I just a good unfiltered moment.
That's been it's like the last, I don't know, how long has it been? The last 4 or 5 days. It's been, since the throw ride thing happened, it was just like dejecting. Like, there's not much you can throw at me now where I'm not going to be like mentally not rattled per se, but like, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for the guy, right? Like, I have a lot of respect. I wanted to be here to work with the guy. We can keep those storylines of Dave's a Barstool guy and Dave wants fucking Dave Portnoy. I'm telling you, can believe me or not. I really don't give a shit. I wanted to be here to work with him. I have a lot of respect for him, a lot of admiration for him. I love the way he does a show. I love the way he differentiated himself from everybody else who fucking did shows in radio. And I looked up to that aspect. So to hear the shit back at me is jarring in a way where, like, I know I got a lot of messages where people are like, you go to, like, you're fighting with him about like whether or not it's going on YouTube live and you have all this passion, and then you're not fighting with him when he's calling you a snake and a liar. And it's because, like, I'm trying to address, like, how do we get to that fucking point? Like, how did I allow it to get to the point where somebody I admire is actually saying that back to me? And not only just that, is like, they're okay with saying it back to me and looking at me and then me walking back in the door the next day, because, like, maybe they're used to that uncomfort. I'm not necessarily used to that. And so, like, it's something I'm getting used to day by day. I don't want to not like the person. I want the person across from me to like me. I want to like them. That's the work atmosphere. And that's the atmosphere I'm used to. So it's like, it's strange getting used to all that. And it's on steroids when you admire the person.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, and it's all going to be a learning experience. I think for you, especially, I think one thing, especially even our generation has a tough time with, is that split of personal versus professional. And it's, look, from a professional standpoint, this was a major fuck up professionally. And like the beating comes, and Kirk doesn't have that many friends, as he always likes to say. He's got the close acquaintances he keeps with, and then you have the work relationship, cordial, nice, respectful. And it's one of those situations. We even saw it last year with, like, Mike and Steve, where it was like, "What, Mike? I'm not going to be your dad," type of situation at point. So it's one of those situations that Kirk's going to make you a better person, and he's going to do it by because he demands the best, and you're going to make mistakes every time, and it's all about how you recover from it. And you can either take, if you get criticized, there's a lot of people out there who'll take it personally, wallow, wilt away. Like, I think it's going to take a little bit of fortitude to like kind of come over it. But if you do come over it, then I think you'll come out stronger, better, more effective. Is Kirk ever going to be your best friend? No, but he might one day maybe be like, all right, he was a good producer. And then you'll hear years after, maybe all kidding aside, I liked working with Dave, type of
Well,
thing. And that might be the best thing you get.
Yeah, and there were things that I didn't agree with of what he was saying on Monday's show about my relationship with. Now I don't even want to say his name. I don't even want to talk about him anymore. But like, I don't personally agree with that. But if he thinks that, it's kind of one of those. It's one of those things that is what it is, right? And when you talk about you're going to be a better person and you're going to get more, you're going to have more respect for him down the line, possibly. My respect kind of came where on Monday that all happened, and then on Monday night, we're immediately pivoting into, okay, how are we going to right this wrong? How are we going to correct this? Like, and it's done and it's collaborative and it's very quick and it's efficient. And now obviously we got to follow through with what we've been doing to that point. But it's just, that's where like, I immediately went into like, I was kind of jarred by Monday thinking like, oh fuck, I don't agree with anything he's fucking saying, but I'm just going to sit here and take it. And then to go to Monday night and be like, you know what? Like, the guy just pivoted like nobody I've ever seen before, and we're collaborating to right this wrong. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, to be able to do that, but even though that he had it fixed, like before this situation came up Monday night, it seems like after the show on Monday, they're going to be a new producer in today and Friday. Like you're going to have like kind of like a 2-show suspension. It seemed like just kind of from everything. So to be able to turn it around, it's like this is him giving you a second chance, being like, all right, let's write this. Let's see how can we handle it? What kind of content can come out of it? How can we move on from it? So I think that's where it's just going to be. And look, you can wallow in the shit if you want, like be like, do the whole woe is me before taking the break blind Mike would do at times. But now, like you see Mike even comes up now, and even listening to Mike today, I think having him there was just so funny, just because he could provide that commentary, and even he's seeing how bad it is and stuff. So it's a good all around thing. And that's why I think ever since Mike's come back, I've been a huge Blind Mike fan, especially since he came back. So I'm excited for Sacco too. And it's one of those things that I love the show, and I look forward to you guys seeing how you react. And Friday's going to be a fun show to even have Chris in there to see what his perspective on this whole situation is going to be.
Yep. So Chris is in on Friday. Obviously, we'll see what else comes of the news and putting together this show or anything else before that. But Sacco 4 announced tickets on sale. We went live. Of course, the site has a problem the moment that's just like the way it fucking works, of course. But it was fixed, I think, around 10:30. So those are on sale now. Everything's active. Go get your tickets. We'll provide you with updates as they kind of come about. But right now, it's kind of a bare bones event as we stand. It's the Sacco Drive-In. We'll have a stage, obviously, like we had, and it's food right now, concessions figuring that out. We'll call some food trucks because you might as well at that point, and we'll get that fucking right this time. And that's about it. I don't think there's anything more to add to that now, but we'll keep everyone in the loop. And so anything else before we go? I mean, we don't have to hit on the other topics that we talked about, like Portnoy or anything like that. So.
But I was going to say, it looks like I just saw a tweet from Whitney. He looks excited to have a beer with you before the show. You gonna do that?
Who's that? With Ryan Whitney tweeted that? Yeah. Oh, Christ. Yeah. Is he saying he's appearing on this show?
I was going to say, actually, that does, as a fan, even if you didn't listen to Madawaska, how do you not know of the Mike from Madawaska incident and the no drinking before?
No, I knew. I said that to Mike. I said that with Mike after the show. I knew about it. I guess in the moment with the other, like with everybody out there, I kind of looked at it as, I shouldn't have looked at it as like, if I went out to lunch that day, even if it was by myself, I might've had like a beer at lunch, just as like I got there at 6:45. I've been running around. There's tech issues here. There's tech that, and you're just like, and it was kind of just, not that I'm like drink a beer, get a load off type of guy, but I think that was like my mentality. I don't know. Other people came by and offered me them, and I said no. It was just like in that one. So either way, I certainly learned my lesson. There was no plans to consume any more than that. It just kind of happened, I guess, organically when I was seeing people that I interact with on a regular basis for the first time in person, and then kind of mingling after that. So that was the rationale. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh no, that was the rationale. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make it right, but that was the rationale. So. All right. Well, we'll wrap it there from Justin Cully. Andrew, thank you very much for hopping in here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. We will talk to you guys again on Friday with Quantum Week Chris, and we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.